Why does this song go so hard? Like, so I was looking for some new music this morning and I was like, yep, yep, this playlist is it. Hi, babies. How are y'all doing? Hi, Yosef. Hi, LS. Hi, Nexi. Hi, Jojo. Hi, Phoenix. How are you guys doing? Celeste stream, more like some more stream. I'm doing well. Hi, Noad. Good to see you, baby. I'm really excited to stream. Actually, I wanted to stream yesterday too, but I was like, no, no. I need a little. Oh, sorry. I mean, wait. Where's my music? Hold on, hold on, hold on. Wait, wait. Hold on a sec. I'm the music now. Yeah, hang on, hang on. I need to fix it. Audio, audio. There we go. Okay, you guys should be able to hear it now. Anyways, I'm excited to stream, and I wanted to stream yesterday because I was so creative yesterday, and I just wanted to like paint and draw and talk. But I was like, no, I have so many things I need to do to get done, and also to just like take a little bit of a break. But I missed you guys, and it was just for a couple days. So I'm excited to be back. I did a whole bunch of stuff these past 2 days, mostly just art related stuff. But it's been really fun. I want to show you guys some of it. How are all of you doing? What have you guys been working on? What are you going to be working on today? We hosted the giveaway for the abstract pieces that we did on stream last weekend. So we have a winner for those. I'll probably do more of those in the future, but these babies, these babies are going to a new home. Here they are. Yeah. World building, then art, love it, then chores. Listen, it's not so bad, right? Doing good. Thank you for asking. I'm glad to hear it, Jojo. I'm going to be working on, hold on, I'm going to let the ad roll for a minute. I'm going to set up. I've got a whole bunch of stuff I'm doing today. Hang in there, guys. I'm wondering if there's like a better way of managing the ads because I feel like they're so long and also they're at the start of stream, which is like, cringe. Let me see. Feeling Twitch just runs opening ads anyway, unless you're Prime subbed. I guess that's probably true. Yeah. And like, just that's the thing. It's like either I can choose when the ads happen or Twitch chooses. And I'm like, can we not? All right, so I've been working on a lot of stuff the past couple days have kind of been lots of art and like unhinged amounts of art. I was telling LS how I did like 25 head drawings in a day, portrait drawings in a day. I kind of unintentionally started the 100 heads challenge. I think I'm almost to 60 heads, and kind of started it last week, and then I just went crazy with it. So I'm at 57, I think. And I realized from doing this that there's a very interesting way to approach this. And I also had an idea to do another 100 heads challenge with you guys here on stream over the course of like a few days. But not only just the 100 heads, but also talking about like how I problem solve while I'm doing the 100 heads. So it's not so much of just like, okay, just grind it out, get 100 heads done, but rather it's like, I'll do one, I'll take some notes on it, I'll take those notes into the next one, and then like keep moving. So it's kind of like an iteration. But I thought about doing 100 heads challenge with you guys on stream. What do you guys think about that? Does that seem intimidating? If y'all want to do it along with me, or does it seem fun? Does it seem like crazy? But I was thinking about doing that on stream. Not today. Today I have another project I want to work on, and I'll tell you guys about it in just a minute. But yeah, I just kind of like, they're not like finished. Like they're not like, I think a lot of people think with 100 heads you have to like really like render and detail them out. They're very sketchy, structural, and I've been like taking notes, building upon them, and like learning from each one. So like if I go back to some previous days, you can see like there's some significant progression. But these are quick. I don't know how, because I've just kind of been doing them like in between stuff, so I don't know how long I take on each one, but they are pretty quick, probably a few minutes at a time. But yeah, we might do that. I think that would be really fun. And I'm almost to the end of this sketchbook, so I have a new one, and I think it would be really fun to fill it with portraits. So, I don't know. We'll see. But I think it would also be cool to like talk about my process for learning while I do it, because it's something that I feel really passionate about, and I don't know, I think it could be helpful. Hi, Scott. Fun to meet, a little crazy. Maybe we won't do like as many. Like I'm over here like, yeah, I could probably do it in 3 days. But maybe we won't do as many as I think we will. Maybe we'll just kind of like go through it together over time. Be cool, actually, practicing more heads on traditional as well. Back to the basics. Hell yeah. Find it easier to draw with ballpoint pen instead of charcoal or graphite. Yeah, I prefer it too. It's, one of the things that I've noticed is that when I'm using the ballpoint pen, I keep like a really steady pace. I think when you throw in like the ability to erase, it slows things down a lot, and I find that interruption of like pausing, erasing, and fixing is very much like it's like a speed bump for my brain. So I like the idea of just continuing. If I make a mistake, take note, move on. If I make a mistake, take note, move on. I really enjoy that, and it also interrupts that part of the brain that wants to like perfect everything and make sure that it's right before you move on. I also think that can be really stifling as well. All right, cool. So we'll do, I'll post more about it, but we'll do a 100 heads challenge together on stream. I think it would be really fun. And as for today, so I had a dream. And I know all meaningful like things start that way, but I had this dream. I don't really remember the dream itself, but I remember the painting in the dream. And it was really simple. It was like this smear of a brush stroke, like a really big brush stroke over the canvas. And then cutting into that brush stroke was these little flowers. I don't know what kind of flowers specifically, but some sort of flowers, and that being like the whole piece. And I was like, I woke up and I was like, I've got to do this. So today what I want to do, and I kind of thought about it a little bit more and I like planned it a bit, because I've been really into using the joint compound to make texture on the canvas, I think what I'm going to do is add some texture to the canvas and then paint this vision. So it's not just like, empty canvas. So I'm going to start that today. It's going to take, I don't really know how long it's going to take in terms of the joint compound, but I'll put the joint compound on. It'll have to dry, and then I'll probably do painting on another stream. Hi, Titan. Good to see you. For me, it's that I'm always scared of drawing. I hate erasing things. I prefer building layer by layer. I feel it's easier to make that with ballpoint pens. Also, I can see where I lack more practice as well. I think those are all really valid points as well. I don't know what it is. My brain, there's something about like the interruption that really causes it to like, yeah. You woke up 10 minutes ago? How'd you sleep, Titan? All right, so I'm just going to jump right in. I had this thought yesterday while I was working on the portrait drawings, the head drawings. And I realized something, because this wasn't the first time that I attempted to do the 100 Heads challenge, and it obviously won't be the last time, but the previous times that I tried, I couldn't finish it. And I mean, I haven't finished it yet either, but I'm like on a roll here. I couldn't finish it. And I realized that when we draw, there's a lot of expectation. And Nexi and I had this conversation too. There's a lot of expectation about what the finished version should look like, right? So like, for example, let's say you're working on something like, Nexi, do you mind if I use you as an example? Because I think what we talked about was like really, really useful and really insightful, but I want to put you on the spot. You know. All right, I'll buy you a coffee. Anyway, so Nexi and I were having this discussion, and he's working on this piece that I think looks really cool. It's probably one of his best pieces. And I'm like, hell yeah. Like, I was really excited about it. And he was like, well, I want it to look like how the professionals do it. And I'm like, that's fine, but I also think that looking at it that way is kind of like getting in your own way, because you're not able to celebrate your wins. You're not able to like objectively look at, here's what I need, like, here's what I'm working on, here's what I'm improving. And I was like, that is the mindset that also has gotten in the way of doing a challenge like 100 Heads, where it's like the challenge isn't about drawing 100 heads in an aesthetically pleasing way. That may be a result, but what I realized is that we get in our own way about what the outcome should be, rather than focusing on the fact that, hey, we're learning something here. There's something to pick up from this. There's something that I didn't know before that now I do know. And it like hit me like a truck. I was like, this is why it's so easy to quit a challenge like that, because you're in the middle of working on it and you're like, it's not good enough. It doesn't look right. It's not meeting this expectation. But the expectation isn't actually your expectation for your work. It's the expectation that you see from other people that you're trying to force on yourself. But you may not be ready for that yet, and that's also okay. But the problem, I think, is forcing that expectation on yourself. Again, it steals the joy of, I'm improving on this thing. And that's what we need to keep going. That's what we need to keep going, is this idea of like, I'm making progress. So I guess before we start the 100 Heads challenge, because we will do that together and that's going to be fun. Before we start that, I think it's really important that we, and I'll establish this when we get started too, but I think it's really important that we go in with the mindset of what have I learned here? And not why does it not look like everybody else's? Or why does it not look like my inspirations? And I think a lot of people equate that to, oh, I'm just not a good enough artist, and not the fact that like, oh, this is part of my journey. This is part of what I'm learning. And I just thought it was a really interesting realization yesterday. And also one that like I guess I wasn't wholly aware of either, because as you know, as I was going through the 100 heads, I was like, man, these look like hot shit. Which I think is like a valid like reaction, but at the same time, it's so much more fun when you go in and you try to like, what do you see? What are you experiencing? What are you learning from this? And then that curiosity is like so insanely powerful. Yeah, Titan, the 100 Heads challenge. I think Ahmed Al-Duri was the first one to do it. But it's basically this challenge where over the course of 10 days, and you know, I guess we can set our own timeline on this, but over the course of 10 days, you draw 10 heads per day so that at the end of it, you have 100 heads. And I really want to go into it with all of you from this very like educational learning mindset. And so we'll do it on stream together. I'm not sure exactly when we'll start, but we'll do it on stream together. And then I'll talk about my process for learning. I'll talk about things that I see. I'll talk about how I use each one to learn versus just trying to like pump out portraits for the, you know, the, I guess like bragging rights of saying I did it, you know. You'll still have those bragging rights at the end, but I think the focus needs to be something more, what's the word? Progress focused. If you're learning through a failed attempt, that's also good. Also good endpoint, not just good on good attempts. Yeah. I think, God, there's so much like, there's so many people I think that get caught up in like, it doesn't look good, so I haven't done a good job. But that's very, which I mean, it makes sense. We're taught that in school. We're taught that if we do a bad job, we'll get bad grades or we'll be in trouble, right? So like, of course we think that way. But when it comes to drawing, and to be honest, most things in life require this, you have to fail in order to learn. And that's what failure is. It's showing you what you need to work on. It's showing you what didn't work out. It's showing you what not to do again. Or it's showing you maybe you can do the same thing, but you just need to do it a little bit differently. It's better when the drawing just comes out naturally without being forced, but as you say, not focus on the expertise. Aspect is massive. And I think that's the difference between, like, I'm not saying you have to completely let go of making an interesting or a nice or good drawing, whatever it is. But I also think that when your intention, like, if you're practicing, you can't go in with the intention of, I need to make a good piece, because then you're always going to be disappointed. Because, and you'll be disappointed, but you also won't allow yourself to make the mistakes that are necessary to make those discoveries to then move forward, to then iterate, to then innovate. And that's the part that's important. The intention is so freaking important. All right, hang on. I need to be a little thoughtful here while I plop this down. I'm trying to think the best way to approach this. I don't quite know what I want to do with this. So I'm just going to wait. I don't know if you guys can really see the texture on it at the moment, but I will be painting it after it dries. And I don't want to go too thick because I don't want it to crack, but I do want to give it like a... enough of this like raised quality. Actually, I'm gonna use a palette knife. Classmates usually find it strange that I make a list of bad things after I finish a piece or study. Helps me to structure what I do to improve, also to give myself a compliment for things I made good. This helped me a lot to ease my mind from imposter syndrome. I think that's so useful. Like seeing the positives as well as the negatives. And this is, you know, my thought process here for how I approach portraits is very similar to how I approach it in my boot camp. I really, and I say this so many times throughout the boot camp, but anytime I give an instruction on something, I always remind people, this is not the only way. You may be here learning from me. You may use this as inspiration to try something, but this is not the only way. And I think it's so, and not a lot of teachers do that. It's so important that it's an option, not like a rule. Like my guidance is an option, it's not a rule. And I think maybe some teachers have a hard time with that because it's like, well, if they don't do what you say, then like, I don't know. But like part of discovering your own creativity is, oh, there's a piece of gold leaf there. Get out of there. Well, he's in there now. I'll paint over it. Anyway, it's so important to explore that element of creativity where it's like, what do you want to make of this? And I think I disagree with a lot of teachers that say like, you have to do it this way or it's not going to work, or you have to only do my method. And so I talk about that a lot in the boot camp where it's like, here's my approach. Here's what I like to try. This isn't what you have to do, and I'm going to encourage you to see it your way and even share it with me because I think there's so many ways to approach creativity. I think I just bonked this. And so much of what I teach, both of my mentorships and in my boot camp, is just, it has a lot to do with empowering creatives to explore their vision through techniques and methods of how to see the world, how to interpret, how to share. Rather than, here's one way, do it that way, or it's wrong. And I think a lot of students get discouraged when they hear that, like, they hear the method of like, here's one way, do it that way, or it's wrong. Because then you're very quick to assume like, well, if I can't do it that way, then I must not be creative. But not true at all. Not true. And I think, you know, you hear all these horror stories about these art teachers who like discourage particular styles and certain approaches, and 10 years later you've got an adult who really wants to be creative, but they feel like they're not allowed to because they were told that their vision is no good. All right, hang on. I'm checking this out. We got some textures here. So this looks a little bit random, but in my brain it makes sense. So I want to do kind of like, once this dries, I want to paint a color here. And then the flowers will kind of come up. And then I'll paint them into this color. So the color back here is going to act like some sort of contrast. I really want the flowers to pop. I think maybe I'll paint the stems along some of these lines that I've created. Yeah, it's very abstract right now. I know what it's going to turn into is something still very abstract, but based on what I've made in the compound. Never tried these types of challenges, 100 heads, but how do you avoid being repetitive on your reference and drawings? So, Noad, what I like to do is I'll just pull up Pinterest and I'll just go through and pick the next one that I see. I do my best to make sure it's not AI, and then I just keep moving. Also, Mythlista, hi! I totally missed your message. How are you doing today? I just rambling. I just. I also, one of the things I really want to talk about when we do the 100 Heads challenge is, and Nexi left a comment that made me think of this, not forcing it. Something that I think is going to be really important to talk about is when you're doing something like drawing tons and tons of portraits or, whatever you're doing, really any kind of drawing. What I've recently learned, and the abstract stuff has really taught me a lot of this, is that drawing from this place of relaxation and comfort rather than this like really tight, like tensed place. I don't know about you guys. Maybe some of you can relate to this. Let me know if you can. But for many, many years, I was creating from this like almost like a wound up, like muscles tight, holding my breath, like grinding my teeth kind of place. And I didn't realize it until I started doing the abstract stuff and I switched. Like I had an idea about it, but I wasn't like fully aware of it all the time. But when I switched to doing the abstract stuff, I realized like, holy crap, I'm like squeezing my pen. Hold on a moment here. Was there an echo? Anyway, I'm like squeezing my pen, right? And just like really tense, really uncomfortable. When I was done drawing, I'd be really exhausted. And I was like, this can't be right. This can't be normal. And when I made it a point when I started doing the abstract stuff, I was like, no more tension. We're done with that. And so anytime I felt my body getting tense, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down. Hang on. What are you feeling right now? And then it would come to the surface and, I'd get an indication of what was going on and then I could work on it. But that helped me now as I'm doing the 100 Heads challenge again. I'm like, this is easy. This feels good. This feels right. Even the exploration of when I make a mistake, my body doesn't tense up anymore. I'm not like fighting with myself. So yeah, it's a whole new like experience. And I definitely want to talk about it as I do the 100 Heads challenge. And just kind of like my whole like process, like what's happening in my brain as I'm working on stuff, which I don't think we see a lot of when people are making art. It's more of like, here's how to draw or just random ramblings, but never like, here's what's going on behind my eyeballs. Usually it's not much, but when I draw it is. Remember when I started a 500 thumbnail challenge, had to learn how to get so much looser with my lines. I remember just how my progression with my line work would get so much messier, but I have so much more depth. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, hang on a sec. This part's done. I'm so sad that I have to let it dry before I do things, before I paint on it. So I'm gonna clean this stuff up real quick, and then I'm gonna set up to do some drawing. Nexie, will you grab me a towel or something that I can put this on in here? I'll be right back, you guys. Yeah, kitchen. No, I need something bigger than a kitchen towel, like a shower towel or something. Shower towel. What? Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Hey, Fen. All right, let me just clean up the stuff real quick. I'll show you guys a couple things I worked on yesterday as well. I did a little bit of experimenting with painting a portrait in acrylic as well. I realized I needed some more materials for like mixing paint and things, so I got some new stuff for that. Haven't done much painting of portraits traditionally yet, but I did one the other day that I'm like, kind of like how it came out. I want to play with more abstraction in my portraits too. All right, let's give this a second to dry. $500 thumbnail challenge. Titan, I was thinking about something like that too. I don't know about 500. But I was thinking about something like that as well because I mean, I will be back to working on my splash pieces very soon, and I feel like everything that I've done with the 100 heads, I'm like, yeah, I should do this with everything else too. So that would be cool. All right. So yesterday I worked a little bit on the gold crystal. I don't even know what to call it. So this piece, and I'm still working on building this up, but I think I showed this couple days ago. Basically, the the gold texture, I've added the gold flakes to it, and then I've painted more gold on top. I want to clean out some of the edges here, but this one I'm really excited about. I haven't decided if I'm going to add the blue because I thought about doing like a lapis lazuli kind of painting, similar to what I did with Surreal? Yeah. Surreal? I don't know. Anyway, an old piece that I did. So I was thinking about blue down the center, but then I was also like, okay, what if it expands into blue? But then I'm like, I also kind of like leaving it more empty, but I do want to clean some of this up. So as I clean up some of these gold parts and kind of transition them a little softer, I think then I'll decide, okay, how much further am I going to go with the color? Yeah, I've had so much fun with this. I'm actually like, as I work on it, I'm like, I want to keep it. I'm in this like this weird phase of like, I love all my abstract work. I don't want to sell it, but then I'm like, but to create more traditional, I need to sell it. So I'm like trying to pick and choose which ones I'm like, okay, which one's mine, which one's for other people. But yeah, I really love this one, and we'll see how it turns out. But I did some work on it yesterday. Basically, just added the gold leaf, put some of the gold paint on top, and now that it's dry, I can kind of see some areas that I want to work on further. So, working on the gold. Did that yesterday. How do I manage to nuke your sound? Was I too close to the microphone? I'm so sorry. And then just as experimenting and practicing paint mixing, I did this. As you can see, I didn't finish this one side, but really experimental, really kind of playing with color, playing with like simplifying a lot of the shapes. I didn't want to like, it was mostly like a paint mixing exercise. And the thing that I'm learning about traditional paint is that it I understand the concepts of mixing, but like the amounts are something I need to play around with. The like in what order and stuff like that, like or like how much of each. That's like a big part of it is like how much of each paint. So the concepts make sense, and I paint when I mix paint in my digital format, it's all the same, but it's just like I don't know how to gauge the amount. I'm so used to like quickly doing it on a slider. Yeah. So definitely an experiment, but I like how this came out. I still need to finish it. I need to just paint this one side, but I had a lot of fun with it, and I probably am going to do more like this. I did an experimentation of colors with Volcania, so I used one sec. So I was using this piece, my Volcania piece, and I was like, okay, I want to capture colors like this with my traditional work. And I got the colors. The skin was a little bit harder, but I got some of the colors in the hair. I managed the background. Like, I'm getting it. But, you know, practice. So I was like, I might as well try to like compare and use my digital work as a way of exploring the colors. But yeah, this was fun. I'll do more. I'm trying to, this is only like 8 by 10. I still feel like even that was kind of large for practicing. So I might even go a little bit smaller, but we'll see. Also, a lot of this stuff will go up for sale. So if you guys are interested in being notified when sales happen, you can type !list in chat and drop your email, and I'll email you when I've got stuff going out. I worked on this a little bit yesterday. What else did I do? I feel like there's like so much. That might have been it. I worked on this a little bit. I don't know how I'm feeling about this piece. Like, I think I enjoy the concept. I'm like getting the fish vibes, but it's also, I'm like losing steam on it. Maybe this is just because I'm working on so many things. But with this stuff, I'm really leaning into what is the most, I don't know, enjoyable for me right now. So, eyes are just cat hair like everywhere. Cats haven't even been in here. What are you guys working on? Before I get started today, I just want to chit chat with y'all. Also, the more that I fill up my office with the traditional stuff, the more I'm like, oh, hey, this is kind of looking like a proper art studio now. It was very sterile with my digital work where it was like just the desk, just the computer. Yeah. No, even I didn't even like put my art on the walls, which maybe some people would find kind of odd, but no. Reading a novel? Love it. What are you reading, Yosef? Prepping for convention, doing inventory. Time to place some orders. Working on my production project for my group mates for school. Nice. How's it going? Still life digital color study. Love it. Arachnid body horror based on a Greek myth. Oh, hell yeah. That sounds epic. Waiting for coffee to reach my adenosine receptors. Actually, you know what? I think instead of doing ink, I might just paint on this today and do some abstract stuff with the paint. That sounds fun. Let's do that. I'm feeling gold. Let's do... Maybe we'll do something gold today. Gotta be golden. Fire cover of takedown. Oh my god, please do. Yes, please. I just love gold. Did we use... I didn't paint with any gold here yet. That one's just so nice. My palette is just like some colors, gold, 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 black, silver, or no, that's the pearl, I think. It's just gold, all this gold leaf that's left over. I swear I had gold leaf like everywhere yesterday. As I was putting it on that painting, I was like, there is a lot of gold leaf here. Hi, Baseball Dad. How are you? What are you working on today? All right, so for trying to think when I'd want to start the 100 heads challenge. I think I want to finish this one I'm currently doing. And then I think maybe, do you guys want to start it on Friday? I'm going to do the 100 heads challenge on Friday. Real work videos for the Soapbox Derby. What are you starting today? So I started another piece. It's just the joint compound on canvas, so it's like a lot of texture. I'm gonna be working on that more tomorrow, but I need to let that dry. And then now, I don't know, just doing something abstract. We're gonna play with gold. I'm gonna do gold and green as well. I don't know, it's speaking to me. Yeah, I guess I've been working on a lot of really like structured stuff recently, so I think it's gonna feel kind of nice today to just paint whatever comes to mind. Feeling it. I'm already feeling it. Gold has been a really big inspiration in my work recently. Is there a color that y'all gravitate towards when you're working on stuff? Golds, reds, and purples. They're good colors. Gravitate to what looks great value-wise? All right, okay. Green usually dominates for me. Green was a big one for me as well, baseball dad. A lot of my pieces early on felt like they had that kind of natural influence, and green just kind of like came along with that. I need it to dry faster. I want to do things with it. Everything that I've done this morning has been like, oh, I gotta wait. Oh, I gotta wait. Hi, Lex. I'm doing well. How are you? Hey, Nexie, will you bring me some water? For paint, not for drinking. Did my light just flicker? Or was it the demons? Always try to do it outside too, so I'm sure the grass or trees have an influence. Oh yeah. Thank you. Okay, you can start up more if you need to. Huh? No, no, it's okay. I'm just naturally hot. Thank you. Ooh, look at the water, you guys. That's so magical? What the hell? Wait, wait, wait. I don't know how well you can see it here. It's so shiny. Maybe it's a banshee. Did my music die? Hello? Okay, I got it. All right, so I think this green would be nice on this, but I don't know. I also kind of just want to draw on this. Maybe no green. Maybe we'll hold off on green. Let me grab, actually I've got a smaller brush. This might be too small. Let's try this one. I'm gonna go back in over top and I'm gonna darken some elements, and then once things fully dry, I'll go back in with the pen. I think so. I'm feeling it already. Oh, by the way, I haven't put out an update on this yet or mentioned it on my socials, but I have some open commission slots and they usually fill pretty quickly. So before I put out a notification, I want to let you guys know. On Coffee, I have 5 sketch slots available, and I also have 1 fully painted portrait available. If you guys are curious, my character work, stuff like this. So these would be my fully colored portraits. And then I don't have any sketch portraits on hand, like finished sketch portraits, but on Coffee you can see the kind of work that I do. So you guys can check those out if you're curious. I haven't announced them to anyone else yet. Seems like you guys here on stream always get the goods first. I haven't opened commissions for quite a while. I think it's been about almost a year or so since I've offered them. So I don't offer them very often. Hi, Soda. How you doing, dude? Hi, Wing Talk. What cameras do you use for streaming yourself and the painting? So for the painting, I use just my iPhone. I have an iPhone 11. And then the camera for my face, I use, oh, is it the Studio Display? I have, the Mac screen. And I just use the camera that's built into that. This is just on my screen. Yeah. And because I use Mac, everything is just connected wirelessly. So my phone camera transmits easily to, I also have a MacBook Pro. So everything just connects like that. Soda, what an ominous hello. Hello, dot, dot, dot. IMAX to fit your hair on screen. Let's go. I'm in. We need even higher quality. I was looking into, so I still have my old DSLR, and I was looking into setting that up for my camera, my face cam as well. But like, I've run out of USB-C ports. So I'm like, we're gonna have to work through this. I think I need one of those like, I have one in mind. I forget what it's called. It's basically like this block that has extra ports and additional power. Yeah, hub. Thank you, Soda. Yeah. I've run out of spots.
Lemon.
Thank you for the follow. How are you? I'm glad you're doing well. Are you also an artist, Buffering? Hi, Avis. Good to see you. Thinking of potentially starting art streaming and really enjoying watching the other creators. Nice. Love to hear it. I think that's how a lot of us start. We get really involved in communities and we realize just how much fun it is, and I think it's a lot of fun to think about doing it for yourself as well. Watching you instead of working. Wah wah. If I get in trouble, you gotta back me up. I got you. I got you. Just tell them this is like, what would you tell them? Oh God. You know what? I don't know. We never met. Sorry. You're on your own. All right. That's gonna dry. Do I play with... Yes, I do. Oops, that's not the right one. see how I feel about that. I don't know. I feel like it's not. Okay, all right. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Hi, Sin. How are you? Bringing some of this lighter gold in. Whoop. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. Oh, wait. I want to mess with my audio one sec. Why is it so quiet? You guys can still hear the music, right? There we go. There we go. Question, real fast. If I change this audio, is it changing the volume of the music? Or is it staying the same? Oh, you can't hear the music? It might just be quiet. Were you hearing music before? Music faint, okay. Let me try this. Okay, how about now? Any music now? Oops. It might be quiet again because it just started a new one. Okay. Louder? Is it louder? Okay, cool. I just realized I could change something that I didn't know how to change. Hallelujah. All right, leaving it alone now. Gonna let it dry. Then I'm gonna draw on top of it. Make it blast that you disturb the banshees. Maybe it's an Oni. Could be both. You never know. I still feel the urge to add the green. I don't necessarily know if I want to, but like I want to, but you know what? I'm gonna do it because I think my intuition is telling me to do it, but fear is telling me not to. So that means we should. Hold on, this bottom section is still a little wet. Soda. Whoop. All right. Let that dry. I have a vision. All right. While that's drying, reminder that we have our pre-order of Daenora going on right now. She is our demon queen. Okay. If you guys want, I do have a sub giveaway going on right now. So if you are a sub, you can type !demon in chat and you can get an unpainted version of her. She is available, fully painted and all that stuff. LS just dropped the link. Feel free to check that out. I'm really excited about this. This is the first figurine I've made. This is a pre-order, so we're seeing how it's gonna go. I'm super stoked about it. I'm gonna try... I have a couple unpainted versions, and I'm gonna try to also paint her on stream at some point. I have so many things I'm working on. But I would love to give it a shot. I have no idea how it's going to turn out. I don't know like how close to the original I should aim or if it should just be some experimentation, but I will paint her on stream at some point. But yeah, she is available and she's at a pre-order rate, so you'll get her cheaper if you guys invest in this pre-order. I have her up on my shelf with the print of her. It's a larger print than this, but this is what my original illustration looks like. So she looks great. She really came out exactly as I envisioned her, and yeah, they really nailed it. But check her out. And I've also, like I said, I opened up commissions if you guys want fully painted portraits, or if you want sketch portraits. I've also got those available. Only one of the painted ones and 5 of the sketches are going to be available. I don't open commissions very often, but I'm like full of art energy this month, and I was like, let's take on more. So I've got all that stuff available if you guys want to check it out. All right, we're getting there. I think it's almost dry. Hand painting 3D figurines is a skill I admire so much, but I'd be deathly afraid to attempt it. Oh, don't worry, I'm terrified. I'm like 100% terrified. I've never done it before. Even like just the painting, like the traditional painting is all completely new. So like me going into the figurine, I'm like, yeah, this is hard mode. Let's go. The good thing is there's a lot of people here in chat who like know what the heck they're doing. So, you know, you guys can help me out. But yeah, I figured it'd be fun to try to paint her on stream. It'll also be, I don't know like how much it'll translate, but like the way I envision it is that mixing paint and thinking about like form and lighting is all like under the same umbrella of what I'm doing. So I figure I can try it. Who knows? Who knows how it's gonna go? It's probably gonna be a stream of me being like, "Hey, chat, what do I do now?" And then you guys tell me, and then I do that, and then I go, "Cool. What do I do now?" Help. Yeah. So I think it's gonna be fun. I feel like I still haven't figured out like a schedule for stream. I'm still just kind of like going on vibes whenever I feel like painting. I feel like a schedule is going to happen at some point though, and then I'll probably plan out a bit more some of the stuff that's going to happen on stream. I would like to do more like motivational stuff, you know, talking more about all the stuff I talk about on Twitter, so like the art block and all that stuff, as well as like art on stream, obviously. If you have any chat members that do Warhammer or D&D, you're all set. Yeah, I do. Yeah, they're all gonna help out. I've already got like tons of help and recommendations when it comes to the traditional stuff. So I kind of feel like a baby deer, you know, like wobbly legs, figuring out the world with this stuff. But it's been so much fun. I think it's really revitalized my creativity in general to the point where like now I'm like, I want to do more digital painting on stream as well. So we'll get to that too. Traditional stuff, digital stuff, I'll still be doing like more abstract, but yeah, I want to plan streams a little bit more. And I think in order to plan streams more, I do think it takes that like time in between. So I'll probably figure out a schedule here within like the next week or two and go with that. Baby deer. Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm just like a little wobbly, a little uncertain, but you know, I'm getting through the world. Where's my mom type energy? Yeah. Hi, Yak. Good morning, Sil. The short hair is cute. Thank you. How are you doing today, Yak? It's good to see you. I'm working on this little gold abstract piece, letting it dry. I think we're in the clear to pull out the Bic pen. Baby deer being smothered by chat. That's fine. You guys keep me safe. Where can I find your commission info? Oh, it is on my coffee page. Alvin, will you drop the link for me? Doing okay? You're so early. I've been streaming almost. I took a couple days off, Sunday, Monday off, but I've been streaming almost every day at 9 a.m. Eastern. It's very early. Yeah. No, that's okay, Avis. No worries. I very rarely open commissions. Like, this is the first time in a year that I've opened them, so I don't talk about them a lot. All good. Yeah, I think the early mornings have been nice. I don't think there's a lot of our usual crew like awake with me at that hour in the morning, but we do have some. And I've kind of been thinking a little bit about like turning the beginning portions of stream into like a more of like a body doubling session, and then maybe an hour, 2 hours in, we open up with like the group mentoring stuff or like whatever event that we've got going on for the day. Just because it kind of doubles as like I'm getting stuff done during that time, but it's also quite quiet at that time. Like there's not a lot of people awake. So I've been thinking about that as like how to work with the time, how to get work done as well as, offer a really helpful, valuable stream for artists and creatives. When you paint the figure, you should do an alternate paint scheme, fire, ice, pizza. Pizza color. That would be pretty cool, actually. It would kind of be like, exploring some of my other dragon ladies. But yeah, I think that would be really neat. Fire could be fun. She could be inspired by some of my element ladies here. Look at you with the good ideas, Soda. I got a new light as well. I don't know if you guys can like really, if it's much difference. Actually, hang on, let me see. Oh, it's quite a difference actually. Okay. Yeah, I got a new light that sits like above my screen because in the evenings I was like, all I have is this light above me and my ceilings are really tall, so it is not helpful whatsoever when it comes to making art. So I got a light that sits above my screen, and Nexi came in here yesterday and I'm just in the darkness with the light here and like just my face illuminated. I probably look like a little gremlin in the darkness. Yesterday was like such a big art making day too that like Nexi came out and he was like, or he came into my office and he was like, do you want to do something together? And I was like, oh yeah, actually. And then as we sit down to like watch some TV together, I was like, I was kind of like hiding away in there all day this night. I like only left the office to eat and we went to the coffee shop in the morning. That was it. The rest of the time I was just locked away in here. No, it was in a good way. You know what I'm saying? It was in a good way. You did do a million art. I did so much. It was good though. It was a really good day. Sunday and Monday were both really good days. Busy, eventful, but lots of creativity. I've been so inspired recently. You know you're locked in when you forget other people exist, literally. I think I forgot for a moment that I existed. I was like... it was like I woke up. What paints are you working with today? So I used a gold India ink, a little bit of gold acrylic, And then I used a acrylic paint marker. And now I'm drawing my abstract lines on it. The lines are kind of hard to see at the moment. I'm going to darken them up, so they'll be a little easier to see. I love India ink. Yeah, I think it's a great medium. Yesterday I had one smoothie. I forgot to paint for 12 hours. Why is that so relatable? Also for the figure, could do half paint that fades into mono penline pencil sketch. That would be so cool. I don't know if this guy would be up to that job, but that would be so cool. I picture it looking kind of like painted and then almost this sort of like what is the word I'm thinking of? Like comic kind of vibe. Yeah, I hopefully understand what I'm saying. Like more graphic. Graphic, that's the word. Yeah, with the lines. Very fine acrylic pen. Soda, you're giving me so many ideas. Wait, I gotta write these down. This could be really cool. What are best friends for? I know, right? Never underestimate the ballpoint pen. You never know. You never know. I mean, let's be honest. I use this for almost everything, so it's probably capable. Jafar, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. I am listening to music. Baseball bed, that's funny. I am listening to music. It must still be really quiet though. Yeah, you may have to. Here's the other thing. Let me try this. What if I do this? Can you guys hear it now? To the airport, I was like, damn, she's grooving to the color green. Colors, music to my ears. Incredibly quiet. If I turn it to max, I can hear it. Okay, maybe I just needed to turn it up. That's what I just did. Thank you, Jafar. I appreciate you. What was some of the advice that was resonating with you? I can't tell if like... Because the OBS is telling me that it's very loud. Maybe I need to do more recordings and mess with it. Hear the music. Okay, cool. All right. Mine does the same thing. Feel like I'm blowing my eardrums. Nobody can hear a thing. I don't understand it. It's same. It's the same. It's like it's so loud, and I'm like, I can't even think with it this loud. But like, it had to be because nobody could hear it. But I realized that I could modify it on my end as well. So Yeah, I don't know. But it seems like we can hear it now, so. And if not, I'll tinker with it more later. Oh, interesting. If you let go of all of your beliefs about what was impossible with your creativity, what would you do right now? Jafar, what were your thoughts on it? And chat, I'm curious for all of you. And I want to give some context to this tweet too. So I think there, especially in the art world, I think there's a lot of beliefs about what's possible and what's not possible. And so I wrote this tweet this morning, and I write tweets like this quite frequently because I want to get people thinking outside of their current thought pattern. So I asked, if you let go of all of the beliefs that you thought were impossible, all the things you wanted to do with your work that you thought were impossible, what would you do? Would it change whether or not you showed up? Would it change the type of work that you're making? What would it change? Would it change anything? And I'm always asking these questions because I want to challenge the normal way of thinking. But I don't always want to like impose my beliefs. I kind of want to see where it takes the reader when they hear a question like that. A lot of your advice has been hitting me as an artist. I feel it. A lot of the stuff I talk about is stuff that I've gone through, or sometimes stuff I'm even going through, and just kind of like my musings of how to work through this, what I'm trying, what's worked. I'm really glad to hear that it's been resonating for you, Jafar. At the moment, I feel like I'm doing what I want to do. I'm not sure I'd change anything. Maybe if you ask me next month, I'll have a different answer, but right now I feel very content. I love to hear that, Avis. I think that's kind of like the dream as an artist, to get to that point where you're like, I'm making everything I want as like authentically and freely as I can. And exploring where that takes you. And I think that takes a creator really far. But it can be hard to get to that point, especially if there's a lot of ideas about like what's possible or what you're allowed to do. I know a big one for digital artists, and this is something that I had to work through as well. A big one for digital artists is this idea that because they're making something digitally, it doesn't have that same traditional, like original value to it, where it's like it's the one and only. But I think there's other ways of creating that digitally, and you can also create that in a traditional sense from your digital work by, you know, how you're printing it, how you're distributing it, things like that. And I think for a lot of digital artists, it makes stepping into spaces where like galleries and exhibits and things, it makes it tough for those artists to feel like they're allowed to do that. That was something that I also had to work through and think about. And so like in that instance, it's like, well, if I don't make traditional, I can't like exhibit in the gallery. I can't show my work in that way. But like, no, there are ways. And by changing that belief, that, you know, just whether or not it's capable, I think that allows someone to actually take the next step, talk to the right people, ask the right questions. And that's why I ask questions like this, because it really makes us think like, well, if it was possible, what would I do? And usually the answer to that question is your next step. And it is the answer to why am I stuck? Or what am I even stuck on? Noed says, personally, it wouldn't be a skill change. It would be more like changing my confidence on putting my work out there and feeling like I deserve the opportunities. Something like that. Yeah, that's a big one. I think being able to put it out there and like, you know, I think valuing it and putting it out there are kind of similar in the sense that like when you feel confident in it, it's easier to put it out there and be proud of it. And no, Ed, one of the things that really helped me with this was it really comes down to asking the questions that I mention a lot, where it's like, do I like this? What do I like about this? And then leaning more into that. And then the more you do that, the more every piece of work that you make feels like it's your expression, it's you, right? And I don't think what we need is like better skills to be confident in our work. I actually think we need more certainty in who we are and what our message is. And so by asking that question, what do I like about this? It really reinforces that confidence, because you're no longer setting the bar as like, I have to reach this skill level before I'll be confident, because you're always going to raise that bar. But instead, if you get closer to how does this best represent me and what do I like most about this, that's very self-defining. And I think that's where a lot of confidence comes from. Also contend, I've been taking a leap at the same time. The online world is so critical of bad art, so I took the leap and I made a good community so far. Jafar, it sounds like you're on a really good track. Not caring about making what I think other people will like, ironically made others enjoy my work so much more. You gotta be a little selfish sometimes. Yeah, and also I even think, Avis, like, even taking the phrasing of like, it's selfish out, right? Because like, really, when you think about the result of putting your work out there, really what it is, I mean, it's a full expression of who you are. It's like, you know, it's you, right? And what that does is it gives other people permission to be themselves. It also helps people figure out, what do I like, right? And I think leaning towards that excitement is something that we should spend so much more time on. But by doing it yourself, you are encouraging others to do the same. You are asking others to also fully be themselves. You're giving them that permission slip. So I think that is, it's not an act of selfishness. It's a gift. It's that permission slip that you're giving them, as well as here's some really cool art that I really love and I'm excited to talk about. Hi, Scarlett. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And I talked about reframes yesterday as well on Twitter. And I think, you know, even something as small as that, where it's like, you're not being selfish, you're giving permission, helps so much with empowering yourself as well as other people. Like, if there's like a negative connotation to you doing something that you enjoy, I also encourage you, anyone, not just you, Avis, but just like in general, I also encourage you to identify that. Take a look at that. Like, where does that come from? Why is it a negative and not a positive? Because I think those beliefs are also intertwined with all of the other beliefs that we have about art making. Me specifically. No. The royal we. You know what I mean. I've really spent a lot of time these past few months as I have worked on the abstract art. I've really spent a lot of time thinking about how I see the world and the things that I believe. Things that also hold me back, but also things that have empowered me over the years. I think for a long time I've kind of had like a different perspective of what it means to be an artist, when a lot of people think that this career is something that you know, you're gonna starve, you're not gonna make it, or it's gonna be hard. I mean, even the concept that it has to be hard, I think is almost like an acceptance of struggle rather than like, if you believe it's going to be difficult, then you're going to find all of the ways in which it's difficult. You're going to see all the ways in which it's difficult. You're not going to think about ways in which it could become easier and become more enjoyable. And sometimes that's the difference between really struggling as an artist. And, you know, obviously there's situations where some things are out of our control. But when we focus on what is within our control and how to get more of that, that's where things get really empowering. But this idea that artists have to starve, I think this is like perpetuating behavior and belief that leads to artists starving. I feel very passionate about this. Like, I think the way we talk about creativity, the way we encourage it, the things that we pass on to the next generation, it's so important that we're careful about how we speak about the journey. And here's the thing. There's a lot of stuff that's like, art's hard, this and that, but especially as an influential voice, for people who have a lot of followers or a lot of skill, I think it's so important how you talk about the art process. I'm choosing my words very carefully here because it's really important how you represent it, because the people who are inspired by you are going to follow those same beliefs. And so if you're like, art is hard, it's a huge struggle, you know, it's never going to be easy, you're never going to be satisfied, other artists are going to look to you and that's what their experience is going to become. So I think, for me anyway, it's always been really important that I speak honestly about things, but I also speak about the framing of, it doesn't have to look this way. And also, we get to choose. We get to choose what the journey looks like. We also get to choose what we suffer for, right? So, like, if you're gonna suffer for the thing that really matters to you. Not to say that art has to be suffering, but it doesn't have to look a particular way. Also think difficult things tend to have huge returns. If art is so difficult, that just makes it more valuable. Valuable equals money. Yeah. And I think this is why AI won't have an impact, because it's not a tool to express yourself. It's a productivity tool. Like, artists, you know, creative people are not the customer. It's businesses. It's people trying to save money. It's people trying to save time. And so the more people make art with AI, the more valuable the human-made art is going to become. Because if people don't believe that they can do it, they're not going to try to do it. And so there will be fewer artists. I am from the US, yeah. Hello. What are you doing? Yeah, make eggs now, because I have a meeting at noon, so. Thank you. Thank you. Let me, there's like a glare specifically on the goal. Wow. Yeah, there's like a glare up here at the top. It's quite hard to like see my lines, but we're building them. Egg. Yeah, I'm having some eggs and rice for lunch. Yeah, because I used it to scrape some of the paint off, so you can just grab a new one. Yeah. See, I don't believe other people can't draw. Even I myself start out drawing stick figures. Yeah, and you know what? I'm of the same mind. Jafar, I think everyone can be creative. I'm not saying everyone is just gonna like show up and make the best art ever in the world, but I think everyone can build that skill if they want to. You also don't have to want to. That's also fine. Tiny Art Mama, thank you for the follow. But with that being said, I think everyone has the ability to do it. It just takes time and practice. And I think the idea that if you're not born with it, you can't do it is something that a lot of people have accepted. And I think it's stopped a lot of people from expressing their creativity because they feel like, oh, I tried a tutorial, it didn't work, now I can't be an artist. But that's not true. It's a progression. It takes time, it takes practice. And there's even days where I'm drawing where I'm like, wow, that's hot shit. Like, it doesn't look good. And I've been doing it for a long time. So I think I'm always yelling about it. And I think it's an opinion that gets people riled up. But I do think everybody can be an artist. Can everybody be an artist that knows all of the fundamentals immediately out of the womb? No, that's nobody. But everybody can develop it. Good to have you, Tiny Art Mama. How are you today? What are you working on? We're talking about, I posted a tweet this morning asking the question of if the beliefs you had about art weren't impossible. Like if you took all the impossibility out of it, what would you create? What would you do? Absolutely, Jafar. Always got the impression artists are especially looked down upon in the US. In recent years, obviously, some of the most important artists were from the US, but correct me if I'm wrong. We have a very strong art culture here in my country. It's hard to say, like, what everybody's opinion is. There's, like... I think maybe because of all the stuff that's been going on, like, in the industry, where, like, layoffs and things like that, I think... there's probably there's probably some like disregard for the creative skill, and I think it probably does exist. But the thing is, like, I try to remove myself from those opinions because I've always been taken care of by my art. It's not been something that has ever let me down, even when I was really stuck in art block, even when, like, I was going through tough times in general. My art was always the thing that was, like, my protector in a way. Like, it took care of me. So, like, it's one of those things, I think, when we put a lot of focus on it, it tends to show up more in our life. And so, while I think that may be true, I think the opposite is also true, where there's a lot of people who really respect art. And really enjoy art and admire art. And, like, here in Twitch chat, I think is a really great example that people who respect and admire art exist. But like anything, there's duality. There's the opposite side of it. I've been independent for my entire creative career. And so I haven't been, like... I haven't been impacted by what's been going on in the industry. To be honest, I don't even feel like I've been impacted by AI, but I completely ignore all of it. Like, I know what's going on, but I completely ignore all of it, and I just tell myself, like, no, I'm the exception. None of this can hurt me. None of this can affect my work, and it hasn't. And what that does, more than anything else, I think it extinguishes the potential for discouragement. And, I'm always going to create art anyway, but it encourages me to keep going. Because if I believe that, I'm not gonna stop. And I think right now, and again, like the climate's gonna change. And so I think if you are to stop, and maybe this helps any artists right now in chat who maybe feel discouraged by AI, the climate of art's always changing. Everything's always changing. But if you stop now, you never know where it would have ended up if you didn't keep going. And in my experience, and I've been online for a very long time, sharing my work online for a very long time, if I had stopped, then I wouldn't have gotten to where I'm at now. And so I think it's really important to just keep going. As long as the vision that you have for your work resonates with you and is what you want, keep going. Yeah. Art should be a personal thing, not comparing because you're not that person. You have different levels and talents. Everyone needs to appreciate what they can do. No one will ever know unless they put all their effort in. I love that, Tiny Art. I think that a lot of people do compare. And I think that comparison really takes the excitement out of creating, because if we're always looking to other people for what we should be doing or what our work should look like, it's never going to feel like a pure expression of ourselves. It's never going to... And I talked about this before, you know, asking what do I like about my work or our work is so empowering. It gives you something to grow from that comparing to other people, I feel like it's very hard to look at other people and then see their work and then go, oh, here's all the things mine doesn't have, you know? And there's like a very objective time and place to do that, but most people aren't doing it objectively. They're doing it emotionally, and I think it can be very painful. Yeah. The piece inspired by dreams you had, dreams in your sleep. Oh, so not this one. Actually, I started another one. It's drying at the moment. I was using joint compound to add texture to my canvas, and then I'm going to paint it. I basically just had this dream of a painting where it was this chaotic smear across the canvas, and then I had painted delicate flowers across that smear of paint. And so that's what I'm going to do in that piece, but it's currently drying and I have to let it dry before I paint it. This one's just an abstract piece. This book has been lots of abstract work, mostly with the Bic pen. So it's just like, you know, simple tools. Oops. But lots of abstract drawing. I'm a portrait artist as well. But my abstract work is something that really pulled me out of quite a big art block. These here are digital pieces. So I do a combination of digital and traditional. But I started as a portrait artist. I've been doing character work for nearly 10 years now. And so, yeah, this is like the main stuff that I do. But the abstract work has been something I've incorporated this year. And I've fallen in love with it. And this is just one of my sketchbooks. I have tons of them sitting over there just from the past couple months. And I was never, ironically, I was never a sketchbook person. I was always working digitally. And that was probably a huge reason why I was getting stuck. We experimented with paint on this day. More paint weirdness. This one's not done yet. But yeah, I just decided to start something new today. I have some traditional stuff back here as well. And then I have some of my digital prints from my digital paints as well. Yeah, this one's shiny because it's in a little case. But it's a pretty matte painting. Yeah. You like abstract art? What do you like about abstract art? Take care, Avis. Have a little dream diary where I draw my dreams. Can recommend doing this to anyone. It's fun. You start to remember your dreams very well. Oh, that sounds super exciting. I love that idea specifically because I used to have a lot of reoccurring dreams when I was a kid, and even as an adult. And I remember a lot of them as an adult now, but I feel like there's something kind of cathartic and explorative, is that a word? In drawing your dreams. And I don't know if you feel this way too. How do I say your name? Feet? I don't know if you feel this way too, but like my dreams, I always feel like they're trying to like tell me something or show me something. And so when I have this idea to paint in my dreams, I'm like, that's a vision. I need to do something with that. But also sometimes if I'm really stuck on a painting, I'll dream about it and finish it in the dream. And then like, I immediately know what I needed to do in the painting, and then I'll go and I'll do it. And I've been having really vivid dreams recently. They almost kind of feel not quite lucid, but like I'll wake up and I'll experience the dream, and then I'll like go back into it, and then I'll wake up and experience the dream again. Maybe I just have really shit sleep. But it's been like, I don't know, it's been very, very interesting lately. No, I used to dream the future. Sounds weird, but I did. No, I love it. I don't think it's weird at all. Now I cannot dream. Oh no. I do their stress dreams more like real life skits, but hardly ever. I think there's definitely a period of time where like my sleep was not the best and I was not dreaming either. But when I'm like, if I'm really tired or if I get really good sleep, my dreams are like, super vivid. Mine is all over the place during the day, so may rest at night. Oh yeah, it could be that. I also get really inspired by my dreams. Sometimes I'm like, why can't I be this creative when I'm awake? I feel like by drawing the dreams, you're kind of pushing at that. You're pushing at your capabilities, exploring what you experience in your dream on like, you know, maybe on a smaller scale, but I feel like it is going to push you more in that direction. I'm all out of coffee. This one is giving me kind of like... well, at the moment, I kind of have this like feeling of like it's a tree kind of twisting. I think, you know, as I start to add more lines to this, I'll get more of a sense of it. But yeah, it has this like interesting twist to it. Yeah, we got our ad break rolling through. Hopefully it's quick. I have it set up so it's only once an hour. So hopefully it's a little less intrusive.
Lemon.
Ubiquity, Ubiquity, thanks for the follow. How are you? Will you add any other color to this? You know, I'm not sure yet. At the moment, I don't have plans to. But I have a lot more work that I'm going to do with the lines. So I think that's going to balance out a lot of this negative space. Maybe I'll try... maybe I'll do kind of like a dark background. We'll see. Find it so funny that till 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was kind of blaming my laptop screen for being the reason why I wasn't seeing the colors right. Although it's a bad screen, doesn't have much contrast, and it's hard to see the values properly. I realized that after making some colored pencil exercises in my sketchbook. I came back to digital and am way better at seeing the colors. I'm pushing more the colors, the values, the saturation, way more confident than before. Oh no, Ed, I'm so happy to hear that. That makes me really happy. I'm a fiber artist is all very new and literally shiny to me. Ooh, fiber art. What is that? I don't know if I'm familiar with it. What is that? Crochet, knit, anything with yarn, string, things like that. Embroidery may be in that group too. Making and dyeing yarn. Ooh, making it. Wow. Spinning yarn and things, so much more. I don't know just yet. That's exciting. I've never experimented with anything like that, but it sounds like a lot of fun. I love the idea of even like making your own yarn. How long have you been doing that for? My aunt used to crochet as well, and I always remember watching her work, and it used to always seem very meditative to me. Felt very cool. Taught myself to crochet 6 years ago. I've been very serious about it last 2 years. Learned to knit like 2 months ago. Oh, nice. Very cool. From YouTube and library books. Yeah, I feel like that is, I mean, that's so much of what my journey was with art as well, where it was like, every free resource I could find and just like eating it up. Hi, Juan. Time to hydrate. Okay, yes. Oh, hello. Oh no, did my phone just die? Mm. Hang on. Wait, what? One sec. There we go. Okay, she back. What? Hang on. Yeah, my camera was like, we're gonna take a little bit of a break. There we go. No, I got a charger. I'm good. One, how are you? Hi, Fox. This piece looks like a riverbed to me, sparkling in the sun. I love it. How are you today, Fox? It's good to see you. Doing okay. Still summer over here, starting to cool back down. I'm up early to work on some character designs and play games. New update later. What game you playing, One? That's always like big brain right there, where it's like, all right, I'm gonna wake up ahead of schedule, get this stuff done. I just realized my camera is like in front of my face. Get stuff done so you can play games. I love that. Doing well. Sent my oldest his first day of kindergarten this morning. Having all the feelings. Oh my god, I'm sure. It's gotta be hard to like let go in a sense, right? Like sending them off. You're not there. What if the big kids are mean? Playing some Helldivers 2 later. Came out with a big update that adds underground missions. Ooh. Not the big kids. The big kids are gonna be mean to me. I sound like Bill Cosby. Oh, well, you know. I totally get it. I get it. That's gotta be hard. The 8th graders. Those little meanies. Chromatic Kitten, thank you. How are you doing today? You inspired me to do some abstract doodling this weekend. It was such a good brain break. I'm gonna do more. Fox, I would love to see them. If you want, drop them in the Discord. What is a paint brand you use? So I use a couple different things here. I've just got just Artist Loft. These are cheap paint acrylic pens. And then I've got Dr. PH Martin's India ink. And then I used Golden acrylic as well. Just woke up, gonna get the coffee going? Hell yeah. Yeah, and of course, the trusty Bic pen. The final touches. I'm really loving the like sheen of this. It really, I will say, like, just on its own, it doesn't, like, when I'm looking at it here, like, you can't really see the reflectiveness of it. But then, like, in the light is where it really shows. Nexie, how's the, I just realized, how's the food going? I feel like I heard the machine, the steamer go off. Ooh, this is a big piece. Machine or cross my legs and my heel bang to the table. Oh no. Are you okay? Alright, you guys. I made some good progress on this. I'm excited to work on the other piece tomorrow as well. But I think I'm going to wrap up today. I've got a mentorship meeting coming up, so I want to make sure I eat and relax and recoup before I do that. So I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to go ahead and send you guys off in a raid, though. Thank you guys so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Make sure before you guys go, or well, before we raid, I want to remind you guys that we have the Dayanora pre-order running right now. So if you guys want a chance to get one of these figurines for yourself, she is available at a pre-order price. You can type !figure and it's going to get you the link to her. This is Dayanora. She is a character that we painted on stream. She also came with the print and she came out stunning. Like, I absolutely love the way that she looks. I'm gonna try to paint her on stream too. I don't know how that's gonna go. I've never done anything like that, but make sure you guys check her out if you want to get in on the pre-order.
Lemon.
And if you want some more goodies off stream, make sure you check out my socials. I talk a lot about a lot of stuff we talk about on here on stream, about art struggles, challenges, art block comparison, all that sort of stuff. I'm over on Twitter, Blue Sky, also posting stuff there. And if you guys want to connect to the community, we have a Discord that you can join as well. It's open to everybody. Subscribers get some extra goodies, but you're more than welcome to jump in and share your art. Yeah, I think that's it for today. I did just open a couple commission slots. You can check out my Ko-fi page for that as well. I have not opened commissions in a year. I just have not. I've been so busy, but I've got a little bit of time now. So if you guys want to jump in on that, you can check that out on my Ko-fi page. But for now, let's go see who are we gonna send you off to. Let's go see CNOT. CNOT is a sculptor. He makes some incredible work. Make sure you show him lots of love. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, bright and early, 9 a.m. EST. Bye, guys.